For this assignment, I've been asked to talk about colour schemes, and I've been given 5 topics to discuss and to research. So, for the first one, I looked at the square colour scheme. Now, the square colour scheme is if you take the colour wheel, which I'll place here on the screen, right in front of my face, so you can't see me, and then you take a square of 4 even points and place that anywhere on the colour wheel, and that should be able to select for you 4 colours that are going to be very complementary and hopefully give you one more dominant colour. It should give you a decent balance, but you need to be aware to keep your warm and cool colours in check. Next on my list is the Triad colour scheme. Now again, on our colour wheel, which I'll put about here, you'll place a triangle, and this triangle will select 3 colours which will match together quite nicely, and it should create a harmony of colours. One dominant colour again, and the other 2 colours should be used just to complement that main colour. The next one was a little trickier to understand, and that's the Dyad colour scheme, and it's a little less binary than the others. Instead of creating a shape like a square or a triangle, this time we're looking at colours that are 2 away from each other in the colour wheel. So the examples I found were peach and magenta, or blue and yellow. Now for my favourite one. This one's the monochromatic colour scheme. This was used a lot in 80s action posters and horror movies, even up to this day. But the monochromatic is where you pick one colour, one hue, and then you vary that colour based on the amount of shade in that. So you'll decrease or increase the value, and you'll pick your palette from that. So from black to white, but as long as it's in that monochromatic kind of hue, it'll look fantastic. The double complementary is another one that's not quite as straightforward. Instead of a complementary colour palette where you just go straight across the circle, you will do that again with the colour next to it and the colour opposite that one. So you'll create a kind of X on your colour wheel. This will create a colour palette that the hues are kind of opposite each other but next to each other as well. The way to think of this is you take your complementary colour and add another colour and make that a complementary colour as well. It's taking the complementary scheme and doubling it up. For an example, I've downloaded 5 film posters, and each one should correspond to one of the topics I've talked about today. So the first one I found was for John Carpenter's The Thing. I don't think this is the official movie poster, but somebody has made this themselves. But this is a good use of the monochromatic look. The only colour present is a very pale kind of green to a darker green on a black background. For my double complementary, I found it rather difficult to find one without having a colour wheel present and actually checking the colours out myself. But I believe this one will cover it completely. And this is for the Avengers movie, Avengers Infinity War. On there you can see there's a lot of colours that contrast each other. So you've got the blues and the oranges, and then you've got kind of the purples and some of the greens. So I do believe that should cover that one. Nice and handily, the internet handed me a gift with this one for Birdman, and it actually showed me the square colour scheme and where those colours fit on the colour wheel. So call me a cheat, but I found this. I've researched it. This is mine. Thank you, internet, again. You've handed me the perfect example in Superman Returns. Superman's main 3 colours have always been red, yellow and blue. The most dominant of those being the yellow. That's why they use so little of it, just to make it pop. But thank you, internet, for giving me this example so I don't have to put too many graphics on my screen all at once. I had to go digging a little further into the past for this one, because not a lot of people seem to be using the dyads these days. Not that I could find anyway immediately. I mean, I had a very limited amount of time to do this. But This poster for Carry On Doctor perfectly shows that if you was to place this on a colour wheel, the colours would be 2 steps apart. I believe that would be between the orange and the yellow, and the green and the yellow the opposite way. So I don't know whether that would actually be Dyad or some other of the million variants featured in colour theory. Overall, I can definitely see how these will be useful in creating my own film poster. I just hope that the colours I use will represent my film well.